Hello and welcome to the Blood and Pigment Podcast, episode 9.1. I'm Joseph here with Bartosz Novitsky. I hope I got that right. The commander of the native faction for Summer of Plunder. We did a big episode a couple weeks ago with all the commanders on, but Bartosz wasn't able to be there, and he has some things to say, so I'm happy to get together. Thanks for coming on. How was the Summer of Plunder campaign from the native commander perspective?
Hi, Joseph. Thank you for having me, and hi to everyone who's listening. I loved, Summer of Plunder. I wasn't sure at the beginning when you guys asked me if I could be the commander. I wasn't 100% sure if I can make it with all the, stuff, schedules, and I told my friend with whom I played in the last Summer of Plunder, that there is an option, and he said, "You cannot say no to these guys," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, I can't." So I said yes, and I'm glad I did because that was amazing 9 weeks. A lot of a lot was happening emotionally, which is quite surprising. I didn't expect that after after doing like a play test. It
It was
didn't
a lot
prepare me
different
for the
with
real
real
thing
people,
at
doesn't
all.
it?
Yeah. So it was quite interesting, and I was because I haven't done it from like leading perspective before. It was a learning curve. So I was kind of the first few weeks I was understanding how everything works. When I realize what non-aggression pact means, and
Or does it mean?
or doesn't mean what alliances may mean. I was slowly getting to understand who am I as a in this political world of Summer of Plunder. But yeah, in general, I loved it. I loved the interaction with players. I think whoever listened to the previous podcast knows that we went like full democracy over there, and I wouldn't do it differently. It was difficult at times because there were like very strong voices, and everybody had like great idea of what to do. But I always like to listen to everything and then just make my mind up how I want to go on. And sometimes it didn't affect the way I went with decisions, and sometimes it affected it and changed my initial idea. And to me, that was amazing because it made all the players, I think, involved in some way or another. So absolutely loved it, and thank you for inviting me, guys.
Thank you for serving as a commander. I know it's a lot of work, and it's probably more work than we advertise. So thanks for uh, putting in the time and working with all the folks in your Discord chat. Yeah, you're right. There was some strong personalities in there, and it was a fun chat to be in. And that was probably the one I spent the most time in of all the nations. So good job managing that. And you had an additional challenge being in European time zone. You're in UK, is that right?
That's right.
So sometimes when the uh, chat got hot, you were just about to go to bed. So you probably did some late nights trying to keep up with it, or had a lot to wake up to when you woke up in the morning.
I absolutely enjoy that, but yes, like especially after week 5 when we've lost our capital, I stayed up until 3 or 4 a.m. and had to wake up like at
Right.
something silly like 6 or 7 for work, and I was just struggling. And players they wanted the strategy. Okay, what we are doing, blah, blah, blah. It's, when that happened, actually, like I was like, let's just, I wanted French blood, but then I was like, come on, man.
Do you want to talk about that for a
Now,
minute? There was the French took your capital, yeah, in week 5, and there was some disagreement or about if there was an alliance or a non-aggression pact, and what does that mean? How did that look from your perspective? Because there was some chat
French,
about that
French,
in the big roundtable.
French are not guilty. I've heard.
That's what they say.
No, as I said, like I was learning what it means in the game, in the culture of the game, right? Because there's like one of the biggest thing was like to navigate the culture that already exists around it. It seems like commanders have certain expectations of how commanders should play their game, and it seems like we didn't play to that, which I absolutely love. Because why would we play to, like, European drum, isn't it? They came here and they want to like take our lands, you know what I mean? So I absolutely love that this is how some of the commanders feel. In terms of France, it was a pact of non-aggression, whatever that means.
That means they can take your capital. That's what it
Like,
means, right?
yeah,
How much more
when
aggressive
when
can you get?
when they came, when they took that capital, I was like, couldn't believe it, right? It took some time to get composure and get over. Am I angry at them that they've done it? I'm not surprised. As I said, they are a European power, and we can't trust no words of theirs. So it shocked me at the beginning, but in the perspective of time, like, I'm not that surprised, and they paid for it in the week 9, which I'm more than happy with.
But back to what you were saying about not conforming to what they expected. There is kind of the culture of the game, since this is a annual event. This is the fourth year, and some of these commanders have been involved at some level for 4 years. You're right. There's kind of this, well, metagame on top of the metagame, on top of the Summer of Plunder, on top of Blood and Plunder. It's kind of multi-layered. But it's good to have new folks in and shake it up, and not just have everybody do what each other expects. So I appreciate you bringing that to the table.
Yeah, it was loads of fun. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
do you want to serve again as commander next year? You don't have to say on air if you want, but you're uh, love to have
I
you.
wouldn't mind doing that. I'm more than happy to be the commander or, second in command. I think there is some really good folk in our chat that would be interested in participating, and I even noticed that we have a very good mathematician within our ranks. So definitely, I would even shake it up even more, and I would have like second in command, and then bring another person into the round table, because why not? You know what I mean? Um, and
Just a
yeah,
circle of chiefs,
absolutely.
right?
That's the way I approached our like chat was like, okay, we are like coalition of sachems.
That's right.
Everybody have a word, everybody can have what they say, and then we make like a unified decision. Sometimes it have to be put,
Consensus.
you know yes, and sometimes, okay, I like what I like your idea, let's go for it. And I think one of the examples of that was in week 5, like, because it was it was just loud, and I'll be honest with you, I was stressed that week. I was like, oh
Did
my
you get
God.
stomach
I was like,
ulcers? Tyler always gets stomach ulcers.
so after work, I actually took my kids to like their activities and stuff, and I was like, okay, it's time now. So I took my computer with me. I opened the map. I looked at the map. I was like, okay, what are we doing? And came up with the idea, like, uh, neutral idea. We just went for, I think, 2 non-aligned territories back then. We got points back. I think the chat was like, quite supportive then. It's like, yeah, I like that idea. They all went with it, and yeah, it was brilliant, man.
Well, besides just the mini game on top of the whole Summer of Plunder, how was your experience getting some games in and playing with folks in your area? Do you get to play
And this is
actually play some games?
Yes, I did. I didn't have that much luck like last year, because last year I managed to convince two players actually to play quite regularly. It was a pirate player, so he didn't have any games this year, but I did manage to get some games. I played solo game. I got my second daughter to play as well,
Yeah, I saw that. It
and
looked fun.
I played with Ken. Ken was a Dutch player. Can not well, we not always could commit to the same time, so it was difficult. It's very slow growing here, if I'm honest. You can hear voices that, oh, I have that army, I'm painting it. When I have time, I'll do that. So the usual stuff. But it is a slow grow, but we are not giving up.
Yeah, what part of UK are you in? I know there's a couple.
I'm in South Wales, so whenever I have a chance, I would go to like any event that Bob is organizing. And unfortunately, I think it's in next week or something, and there will be a great tournament in Entombment, and I can't be there. I was there last year, and it was amazing. Just to play with people you never played with, like learn a lot of stuff because of what they are doing.
Yeah,
I think
tournament's a great
that
place to
was,
learn.
yeah, 100%. So that was amazing, and I'm gutted I cannot do it this year. But I'm keeping my eyes open. Whenever something happens, I'll be there. And we are talking with Ken about organizing something in Cardiff as well. So we'll see. We are fighting the fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's everybody got their game. It's hard to get a group together to play regularly, but I'm glad you got a few games in over the campaign there.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the uh, politics of the campaign, was there anything else you wanted to talk about? As uh, who were you actually working with, and who did you feel like wasn't talking straight with you? Do you want to talk about any of that, or just let it lie? There's a lot.
This is
You were mentioned a lot in the roundtable discussion, so I want to give you one more last chance to get your
that
two
was
cents in.
That was great. That was great. I loved it. And I think the one thing that really made me laugh was when Spanish actually said that they couldn't get us to do anything. I was like, come on, man, we're not Spanish.
That was a strange turn of phrase. Is that what the campaign is about? I don't know.
Uh, but no, in general, like I had tested alliances during the play testing, and that was Spanish and Dutch. And I was about to straight stay on with it. That was my aim at the very beginning. And when the pirates knocked the door, said, "Oh man, we want to let you win." I'm like, "Oh my god, somebody's talking like something I want to hear." I mean, you know. So I really kept close with pirates for the most time, but I didn't want to drop my other alliances. I had to have someone to hit. If
Right.
I have
Can't
alliance
be
with
allied with
everybody,
everyone.
yeah, well, what am I going to do? But I kept always, I never attacked pirates or anything like that. And I actually spoke with Dan probably the most, like, not sure if especially this last part of the last 4 weeks. And it was always good conversation, always have a laugh because he had such a pirate phrases that,
Ah, he's great.
he
He's
just,
great.
I was just, laughing all the time. So yeah, very good guy. But in terms of alliances, I stayed with the Dutch to the very end, and it was interesting to hear that Spanish feel we backstabbed them. I felt backstabbed that week as well. Uh, but right, so uh, at the end of week 4, Spanish came to me and said, "Oh, why don't we attack Dutch and get pirates on board?" I was like, what's going on here, man? Like, don't we have alliance or something like that? But initially, I was like, no, it's just a game. Let's see what come out of it. And then I spoke to my players, and they were like, "What?" They could not believe we would swing at the Dutch. And I'm like, the more we spoke, I was like, they were actually speaking what I really felt. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go with that. And this is when we decided to like go on the guys who would attack us next week anyway. Obviously, like, you know, if they go against allies, they're gonna go against us next.
Right.
So let's hit them. Let's hit them hard. And yeah, that was that's. So I told that to pirates, who always said, "Oh, we want to let you in." You know, I said, "Okay, let's test that." You
Yeah.
know, so I told them, and the next thing I know, we have the worst week of the whole campaign, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Bartosz pirates." I couldn't prove it because Dan, Dan was saying, "Oh, did you finish smacking each other up? Oh, I've done everything. I hit my locations, blah blah blah." And I knew it's them, you know. I knew it's them, and they confirmed it. Actually, Spanish confirmed it in the conversation. I was like, "Okay," but that week 5 was like, "Okay, this is the end of me playing uh,
Mr. Nice Guy.
Summer of Plunder cultural game. I am to be who I want to be. I'm going to deal with it the way I want to deal with. Never disclosed any our attacks to anybody since. This is where
There's a lot of
all
loose
those
lips, seems
comments
like.
come to us. So I had even Jaden coming to me for the first time in some week. I said, "Sorry, man, but you know our you know stance on political alliances changed. Blah blah blah." We had a good conversation that day and stuff, but that was it really. And, and the way the pirates were coming at us, trying to you know, "Oh, I hear that that you hate pirates, you know," or "Spanish says that you work with Dutch," and, and he was coming from so many different angles
Angles.
to try. I just had a good conversation with him every time, but never disclose our attacks. And I was quite happy how that paid off against Spanish, because like that's I think in week 7 we attacked the same location, and then after that he came back to us and said, "Oh, should we just like, you know, I don't want to it again the same location." I'm just like, "Sorry, man, our you know our idea about political alliances are a little bit different. I hope we're not gonna hit each other." But inside I was like, "I hope we do," and we did. And then I had Spanish texting me, um, "Oh, I had fun." Oh, blah blah blah. It's like upset, and I was like, "Yes, that's for week 5." So I kind of silently managed to deal the blows I wanted to deal, like, and more importantly, I thought we can win. So
We
I was always going for the win, and it seemed to me in the week last week there was a discussion after about, you know, should we just trade 3 times or something, and like trade is amazing because it always gives you that point.
for sure, yeah.
But I think in the last week we needed to take the points away from nations in order to win it all. And so that was the idea. Let's just put it, you know, let's just risk it. Let's try to win it. We came close, but not close enough. So, yeah, man, I loved every moment of that campaign.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you for putting your efforts into it. Yeah, where did the natives end up? You guys did the best ever as far as the natives ranking this year, partly because of the more balance. But you guys got a lot more games, a lot more players playing consistently. So it was the
Mhm.
best uh, week or year ever for the natives. Did you guys come in? I know it was all the points were really close. So I'm trying to look it up right now. I forget where you actually
We were tied
placed.
second, I think, with French.
Was it like French, English, and Spanish all tied second or something crazy?
Oh no, 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 no! Spanish was no tied.
Oh, not Spanish, English, French, and natives.
Yeah,
And pirates? No, pirates were tied for first. Yeah. That's
yeah.
crazy. So
No,
close.
I think, you know, that was said a lot about your system, guys, and I think that it's a lot thanks to that. It just works so well from my perspective, and I from everybody's perspective, look, we were all very close, uh, even the Dutch were leading almost all the time. So, heads up to them. Um,
Yeah, I was
uh,
surprised. Although I was
yeah.
kind of seeing where like everybody was saying, we'll attack the Dutch this turn, and then instead of attacking the leader, they would attack like the second place person so they could try to squeeze into second place, hoping everyone else would attack the first place and get that benefit from it. I'd noticed that was a bit of a trend. But yeah, the Dutch and the Pirates had 64 points. The Dutch won the tiebreaker by being in first place longer, and the English, French, and natives all got 62 points, and the Spanish got 61. So yeah, that was pretty close. So well done bringing the natives all the way to the end there.
Yeah, it was great fun. I've had some conversations you guys had about changing the system a little bit, and people being upset about the rides. And I think one thing I could tell about that, I think it's a pretty cool thing. I was worried at the beginning of the campaign that it may become all right. Apparently, they were so easy to get, and so many points you could take off from somebody that it was like no brainer actually. And I was worried, and then you came up with this tweak,
We did.
and I was like, okay, I don't like rides that much anymore. I mean, you have to think about them, and
I
I
thought they
think
were
it
fun
worked
because they had a
well.
random element to it. You had to roll a dice and you might get some points, you might lose some points. And some people did lose
Exactly,
points through the raids, which makes it interesting.
exactly. We did lose points to the raids as well, so they have to be a calculated risk, and they cannot be taken lightly. And if I would, I don't think I would change that much in
I
the way
think
they work.
I think the one thing we are thinking on the raids is um, link them a little bit to defense, so you can have to raid a certain location, and if that location is defended with any of your commander or player points, it'll be harder to raid, which would give a little more weight to defense. In this campaign, there was mostly attacking. Everybody was attacking
Mhm.
almost every turn, and not many points were allocated to defending because it was more fun to take points than to just sit there and defend them. So that might be it wouldn't be a big change to raids, but it would just give a little more weight to defense and make raids be a little more calculated as far as which location you actually raided. But we'll see. I mean, we're a year
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. But in general, I think obviously the previous year I wasn't closing commands, and I wasn't even like participating in the chat that
Last
much,
year, we didn't really have a
or at
chat.
all.
We didn't have a
Yeah.
Discord, and it was just up to the commander to make a communication stream either on Facebook or Discord or some other even. And it didn't really happen very
Yeah.
much, and people are so scared of spies, they weren't really eager to let people in. So I think the Discord rooms for people to hang out and talk shop and plan
Mhm.
was really helpful this year.
Yeah, I think that worked well. And in terms of spies, I think you guys made like really good a decision of making it a rule. Obviously, there's some, people think that rules may be broken and stuff. But from my perspective, I don't think we had any issue with that. Some of native player thoughts in week 5 that that might have been the case, but I always suspected the Pirates, and it turns out that that was the case. So yeah, I think it's a definitely positive change from last year, isn't it?
Yeah, I was happy with almost everything, and I hope everybody had a good time.
Yeah, man. Like I think I texted you like 2 days later. Like I'm already missing it.
It does kind of take up a lot of mental space, doesn't it, during the summer, and it is a lot
Yes.
of fun.
Yeah. Yes. It's and you can feel everything, man. It's just like it's great. I definitely like repeating myself now. I'm up for a year 200%.
All right. Well, we should wrap it up here. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for all your work over the last, I don't know, 6 months with the play test and everything, and leading up a big crew of natives scalping the French. I mean, the Europeans.
Oh,
And thank
but
you.
just before I say goodbye, actually, what French, I think Andy said that, about us like coming out from the trees and being the spookiest and stuff, and
Oh,
I
that was
appreciated
a good
that.
comment.
That was the coolest thing I've heard in the whole, podcast about the natives. I'm glad because that's how we played.
That was awesome. Well done. Well, thank you for listening, all you listeners. And if you didn't play Summer of Plunder this year, we encourage you to jump in next year, June to August. And it's easy to participate. There's kind of uh, a national competition, but there's lots of other things going on, objectives happening during the week, fun stuff you can do, and hopefully people you can participate with locally, and organize play kit to help get your store involved. And it's a good time to play Blood and Plunder, Oak and Ire, and maybe even Port Royal next year.
That will be amazing.
Off going on with Firelock Games. And thanks to Firelock Games for help letting us put on the campaign and get the game out there. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks for coming on today, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.
Bye.